So here we go with the first event of the night. And if you're looking at what I'm looking, it's just a picture of the pool in itself, but we'll keep you up to date with the commentaries as much as possible. All set and ready to go with the 100 meters freestyle. Vladimir Morozov, of course, a winner of the first cluster of the competition already. And that included Paris, Berlin and Moscow. 3 wins in a row. He's looking to be the first since Chatterco to win the first 4 legs of the 100 meters freestyle. He of course swims in lane number 4. He's the only one to go below 46 seconds this year, and his time of 45.57 Paris was so close to his personal best of 45.51, which is the 6th fastest swim of all time. Vladimir Morozov of Russia, already in prime position in the lead at the moment, just ahead of lane number 6, which is Nakamura of Japan. Vladimir Morozov turns first after 50 meters, just like he did in Paris and Berlin, slightly ahead of Nakamura, and coming back strongly at the moment is Lin Yongqing in China in lane number 3. Morozov, though, will turn with 25 meters left of the short course pool, all set and ready to go with yet another win in the 100 meters freestyle. It's Vladimir Morozov. No one's going to come close to touching him. Morozov in first place, Nakamura at the moment of Japan in second place. Timmers making a real fight of it for the podium positions, but it's Morozov who wins yet again from Russia in first place. Nakamura of Japan finishes in second, and Timmers of Belgium in third position. Vladimir Morozov, 4 wins in a row in the 100 meters freestyle for men, and he is looking in perfect condition. 45.99, yet again he goes below 46 seconds. The 2012 world champ looking to make an assault of the World Championship medals yet again in Canada at the end of the year for the FINA World Swimming Championships. Confirmation of the results. Vladimir Morozov, the only one to go below 46 seconds. Katinka Otsu's name coined here in China, and she swims in lane number 4, the hot favorite for the 200 meters of freestyle. Zhang Yuhan of China is in lane number 5. And as I said, I'm having nothing of those pictures. I hope you're looking at some pictures here, but we're having blank pictures right over here at the moment in our TV screens. So we'll try to keep you up to date as much as possible with the swimmers coming in. I can tell you that Katinka Otsu is sandwiched in between an all-Chinese lineup with the likes of Madeline Groves and Susanna Jakobus, who've already won medals in Paris, Germany, and also in Moscow, knocked out in the heats. Wang Xijia of China in lane number 1 comes in to take her place now. She's got a personal best time of 1:56.76, clocked in 2011 when she won in Dubai. Well, it's an interesting race between Otsu and Shen Duo. Shen of China, of course, upset the odds last year when she beat Otsu, but that, of course, was in the long course event. Otsu's queen of the short courses. She has won this event for the last 2.5 years. Her last loss was 5th of November 2013 to Emma McKeon in Singapore. So there they go with Otsu, of course, in lane number 4. Lane number 1, Wang Xijia of China, Zhang Yifei of China in 2, Shen Duo of China in 3, Otsu in 4, Zhang Yuhan in 5, Li Bingjie in lane number 6, Sun Meichen in 7, and Ai Yanhan of China is in lane number 8. Otsu, the early leader of the race so far, as you'd expect. She's gone sub-27 in the first 50 meters so far in all of her races. In fact, Shen Duo is coming back strong at the moment, and she might just be taking the lead. In fact, in second place against Katinka Otsu, with third place at the moment, lane number 2, Zhang Yifei of China. Shen Duo keeping pace with the Iron Lady and looking very, very strong for the Chinese. Shen Duo turning just almost side by side with Katinka Otsu after after 75 meters, going into the halfway mark now. This is where the Iron Lady usually does her business. 173 events win already in 12 events. 27 of those 173 wins have come in the 200 meters freestyle for Katinka Otsu. And here she is in the lead at the halfway stage against Shentuo, who's slowly lagging behind now. She tried to keep pace with Otsu in the first half of the race, but slowly now Otsu's taken a body length lead ahead of Shentuo. Coming strong as well in the far lane is Ayan Han of China in lane number 8, slowly sneaking into podium position. Otsu with another 50 meters to go ahead of Shentuo. The lead now has been extended by Katinka Otsu. She's lost only once last year in the 200 meter freestyle, and that was to Shentuo. But in the short course, there's no stopping the Hungarian Iron Lady as she comes home now, the 3-time Olympic gold medalist in Rio de Janeiro, as Shentuo is slowly fading out. In fact, it's Ayan Han in lane number 8 who's coming on strong. If Katinka Otsu doesn't watch it enough, she might just be pipped in Norway. It's Ayan Han who's fighting it very hard with Zhang Yifei for second spot. I think it's Ayan Han who's got second spot for China. Zhang Yifei in third spot. Shentuo came out very strong and was almost fingernail with Katinka Otsu in the first 50 meters and only come back in 5th position. Otsu penciled in for 6 events, 5 to be swum tonight. 1 she already swum in the early morning race. She has won the first of those 5 tonight. Confirmation then of Katinka Otsu's win, 1:53.89, the best time that she's ever clocked. She has one of the best times in the world. She's always gone below 1:51. In fact, that's the only one to go below 1:53 this year. 1:52.08, her best time in Berlin. Right, so moving on to the 50 meters breaststroke and then the 100 meters breaststroke for women's. 50 meter breaststroke events are significantly weakened because Cameron Vanderburg is not taking part in this year's races in Beijing. But Vladimir Morozov, who's just come off a victory in the 100 meters freestyle earlier on, is racing for the first time in this event since 2013. Last time he finished this event was in 8th place, but he's the fastest qualifier and the only one to go below 27 seconds in the heats this morning. He certainly looks to be in very good form heading to these championships in Beijing. FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup 2016. So we welcome the swimmers for the 50 meters breaststroke event. Germany's Marco Koch has already got 11 titles in the Swimming World Cup, 4 of them in the 50 meters breaststroke. Lane 7 is Sun Jiajin of China, qualifying time of 27.57 seconds. And then Li Xiao of China swims in lane number 6. He's got a personal best of 27.60. He was 6th last year in the long course and was 5th in 2014. Felipe Villa of Brazil was 3rd in 2008. 3rd in Berlin, 3rd in Paris, 2nd in Moscow, 26.21 is his personal best time. He swims in lane 5, and here is Morozov, who surprised everyone by qualifying fastest in the heats this morning. The Russian record is 26.04, held by Primoda, who isn't swimming in this event. Here comes Yang Yifei of China. She's got a personal best of 27.70. And she beat Tokyo with his qualifying time at 27.37 in the heats. And then South Africa's Brad Tandy swims in lane number 2. He's got a personal best of 27.43. Just 0.02 seconds off in his qualifying on the heat. And finally making up the deal, Zhang Zihao of China, who was 4th in this event last year in the long course and taking part in the short course for the very first time. So only Lima from our first stage winners of the first cluster left in the field. He swims in lane number 5. Might there be a surprise from Morozov, who's already a winner tonight with his second title. He's of course got the 100 meters individual medley still to come a little later on. An event which he has broken a world record twice already at these 2016 FINA Airweave World Cup Championships. World record is Cameron Vandenberg 25-25, which he set in the Berlin leg of the 2-9 World Cup. It's a very quick start at the moment, coming in from lane number 2. Fighting in the lead is Sun Jiajun, right? He's lane number 7, Sun Jiajun of China, slightly in the lead at the moment. And Tandy of South Africa going strong as well. Felipe Lima at the moment in the lead, and he touches home first as we'd expect. Morozov in second spot, and Li of China in third spot. Li of China onto the middle podium. But Felipe Lima becomes the first Brazilian winner of this event since Felipe Silva in 2010. It's not helped by the fact that Cameron Vandenberg hasn't been in the field, but still, you need to win this, and he did defeat Vladimir Morozov, who surely is taking part of this event just to gain more points in his overall championships, and his bid to fend off Chad Leclerc, a fast-going Chad Leclerc. From the off, it was Tandy of South Africa, came out very strong. Lima is always in the race after the halfway stage at 25 meters. Then perfect streamline kick, brilliant breakouts from the streamline to ensure that he had the most obvious propulsion going into the final straight to take it, and quite a margin as well. 26.10 seconds the winning time, just ahead of Morozov and Li Xiang of China in third position. All three going below 27 seconds. In fact, the first 5 all below 27 seconds. There you go, Felipe Lima, who is setting himself up for an assault of the medals at the World Championships in Winter Canada at the end of the year. Last World Championships in the short course event, he was knocked out in the semi-finals. He's hoping for a better finish this time out. 26.10, and for a man who finished third in Paris, third in Berlin, second in Moscow, he can now say that he's gone up the table slowly but surely by being first at the Beijing leg in China. Now the fastest races have been in the 100 meters breaststroke, as we said earlier on, and we've already seen a world record equaled at the start of the Paris leg of the FINA Airweave Swimming World Championships. Alia Atkinson is in the group. 5 swimmers have gone below 1:03, and 3 of them are in the field. Alia Atkinson, Yulia Efimova, and Katie Maley. They've all won a leg each this year already. Alia in Paris, Maley in Berlin, and Efimova winning in Moscow, where she swept all breaststroke events. This should be something special. Might we see for the very first time the world record sets in the FINA World Cup event here in Beijing, China. Here come the swimmers, starting with Tang Tianying, lane number 8. She's got a personal best of 1:07.01, set in 2014 when she finished 8th in this event. Xu Jingling of China is in lane number 7. She's the Chinese national record holder. 1:04.32, which she set at the World Championships in Doha when she finished 4th. Yulia Efimova, controversial Russian swimmer, swims in lane number 6. This an event where she won her first title back in 2007, the 10th of November in Moscow. Rie Caneto, who was 3rd in Moscow, 4th in Paris, 4th in Berlin. Katie Maley of the USA, who was 1st in Berlin. In fact, she clocked a personal best of 1:02.92, which makes her the 5th fastest swimmer of all time. Lydia Larson of the USA, climbing up the chart slowly over the last 3 legs. 6th in Paris, 5th in Berlin, 4th in Moscow, and hopefully a podium finish here. And here is the lady, and this event which means so much to Alia Atkinson at the last World Championships, and she became the first black woman to win a FINA World Championship event when she won the 100 meters breaststroke in the World Short Course Championships. Li Jingyang of China completes the field in lane number 1. She did set a personal best in the heats to qualify, but it will be between lanes 2 4 and 6. Larson and Kaneto, the swimmer sandwiched in between Atkinson, Maley and Efimova. The hot favorites for this. Atkinson, of course, almost unbeatable in this event over the years of the FINA Swimming World Cup. 36 titles in all, 17 of them have come in this, the 100 meters breaststroke. Efimova of Russia went off very quickly in the lane at Moscow. She clinched in with a fourth fastest time of all time, 102.91. That's the personal best and national record. Alia Atkinson, of course, equaled the world record in Paris, winning in 102.36. Maley has gone below 103 as well, 102.92 in Berlin. It has been very, very fast between these swimmers so far in the FINA Swimming World Cup in 2016. Alia Atkinson, as always, starting off very strongly. She's got such superb body work, coming on strong in the breaststroke way. She just snaps ankles just as her hands are on the outsweep. She makes sure that she maximizes that body propulsion as much as possible. There we go, almost pulling those elbows right down to the grid to hurt herself. Pulling away now from Katie Maley, who's in second position. Efimova is in third position for the moment. Alia Atkinson, an assault for the world record. 102.36, remember, is the world record that she shares with Ruta Milietite. Can she break it now as she comes home? And it's going to be very, very close. 102.36. No, just out of it. Katie Maley finishes in second spot, and Efimova of Russia finishes in third. 103.77 is the winning time. The first time that neither of these swimmers has gone below 103 in this year's FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. 103.42 after confirmation from the Omega timekeepers is the winning time. Katie Maley finishes in second spot and Yulia Efimova in third position. That is now 37 swimming World Cup titles for Alia Atkinson, who will go into the World Cup as one of the hot favorites, despite the pressure coming in from Yulia Efimova, who seems to be perfecting himself and finding herself for an assault of those titles in Canada in December. She always starts strong. She always leads off very strongly. Alia Atkinson always snaps her elbows downwards, pushes her hands forward before the kick in order to get the most out of the streamline and the propulsion. Flagging off a little bit though in the final 25 meters of that race. The final 50 meters perhaps of that race came out way too strong. Still a victory from start to finish for Alia Atkinson. 103.42, the only swimmer to go below 104. Katie Maley finishing in second place, and Yulia Efimova in third. 105.22 is the time clocked by Shooting Lin of China, which is way off her personal best of 104.32. Bria Larson will be disappointed with a sixth place finish. Rie Kaneto 105.13 in fourth position, just outside of those medals. Moving on to the women's 100 meters butterfly. That's the records. Sarah Sjöström with the world record, which was set at the last World Championships. Alicia Coutts, of course, with the championship record, which was set in 2013 in Tokyo. And we have a very strong field here. Katinka Hoitsu will be chased all the way by Jeanette Ottersen. Let's not forget as well, lane number 5, Luing of China, the Asian record holder. She might just spring a surprise. Madeline Groves, the machine gun, who was surprisingly knocked out of the 200 meters freestyle, might want to make amends with a strong swim in the 100 meters butterfly, an event where she's already won 2 medals, a bronze in Paris and a silver in Berlin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
So here come the swimmers in the 100 meters butterfly for women, led by China's Yang Jinxuan. 59.23, a personal best time she clocked in qualifying from the heats. Jeanette Ottersen and Madeline Groves, the only ones who have gone below 56 seconds this year. Ottersen has gone below that twice already. She's won it in Berlin and Moscow. Chan Qinglong of Hong Kong was 4th in Moscow, 5th in Paris and 4th in Berlin, swims in lane 6. And then Luing of China in lane number 5. Second at the 2012 Olympic Games, bronze in this event. silver at the last World Championships as well. The Asian record holder is in 5. Katinka Otsu, already a winner in the 200 meters freestyle, swims in lane number 4. Only 3 of her titles have come in the 100 meters butterfly. UCE of China is in lane 3, clocked a personal best in her heats of 58.38. She was 4th last year in this event. Beijing of China is in lane number 2, also a personal best in the heats, 59.21. Then Medley Groves, the machine gun as she's called, she's got a personal best of 55.93 in this event, the 14th fastest swimmer of all time. She was 3rd in Paris, 2nd in Berlin. As I said, she and Otterson the only ones to dip below 56 seconds this year. The hot favorites will be in lane number 7, Jeanette Otterson. What to expect, a little push coming from lane 4, Katinka Otsu. Lane number 5, Luing, with a surprise perhaps from lane 1 as well, Madeline Groves, who would like to make up for the disappointment of missing out on the 200 meters freestyle. The active time very quick by Otterson, as you expect, 0.63 seconds, the fastest on the clock, but it's a very quick start at the moment from Luing of China, who's gone off very quickly, and she turns in first place after 25 meters, just ahead of Otterson. Groves also going on very strongly in lane number 1. There's Luing of China at the moment, just ahead of Otterson of Denmark, and she able to keep up the pace now. Luing of China just ahead, 0.02 seconds ahead of Otterson. Groves in 3rd place, Katinka Otsu at the moment in 4th place, just outside of medal contention. Still Luing of China looking very strong. She beat Otterson actually in the World Championships in Dubai the last time out, and she is currently just slightly ahead of Otterson, who has turned superbly. That's a tremendous screen line from the Danish lady, and she might just be slightly ahead of Luing of China. Katinka Otsu is making a real fight back as well in lane number 4. This will be a strong finish. Who will be touching home first? It is indeed Otterson, just ahead of Lu, and Otsu in 3rd position. But Luing has led all the way for 75 meters until that final 25, when Otterson was just superb off the wall. Tremendous streamline and tremendous break up in the streamline, just to make sure that she maximized her speed, and she caught up with Luing, who faded quickly in the final 25 meters. Luing though in 2nd position, and she might be actually looking at the positives of this swim more than anything else, because it sets her up perfectly. Otsu in 3rd position, just as she was in Berlin, failed to catch up and really replicate that win in Paris at the start of the year. Luing thought that she had it after 75 meters. She is happy now, smiling. She almost became the first Chinese to win an event in this year's FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. Almost there, but just tipped at the end of it by Jeanette Otterson, who's won her 3rd in a row now, and this, the 31st Swimming World Cup title. The start was absolutely perfect from Luing after 25 meters, and after 50 meters it was her and Groves that were in the groove, and Otterson just slightly behind. And then right after that, Luing pulled away until that final stretch where Otterson just pipped her to that $1,500 prize money. And Otsu, a tremendous comeback from the Hungarian Iron Lady in the final 50 meters, just to ensure that she was amongst the many podium places. And there you are, only 3 to go below 57 seconds. Katinka Otsu in 3rd place, Luing 56.48 seconds. Might be good enough. Otterson just came back so strongly in the final 25 meters to win that one. So 3 wins in a row now for Jeanette Otterson. Her 8th victory ever in the 100 meters butterfly. And that's a sweet revenge against Luing, who actually beat her at the World Championships into 3rd position in Doha in 2014. But Luing will look at it as she's just prepping herself for the World Championships and just the start and the infancy of her season so far. Whereas Otterson's already been swimming, been heavily strapped to the schedule already in the 100 meters butterfly. First ever win was August the 7th, 2013, Jeanette Otterson. And here she is in Beijing, 30th of September, with her 8th victory in the 100 meters butterfly and her 31st Swimming World Cup event win. We prepare for the victory ceremonies of the first few races on day one of competition from the Beijing leg of the 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. And Vladimir Morozov has already got 2 podium finishes in his first 2 races. Victory, of course, at the 100 meters freestyle. And he's looking to become the first swimmer ever to sweep all freestyle wins. He actually won 7 in a row in 2013. The last 7 legs of that 2013 calendar year. And that means now it's 14 wins. Should I say 11 wins in a row now in the 100 meters freestyle in the short course swimming for Vladimir Morozov in the Swimming World Cup. There's no stopping the Russian. His last loss, of course, in 2013 to James Magnussen in the first leg. Other than that, he hasn't been beaten. He's owned the 100 meters freestyle in the Swimming World Cup. The big Belgian, Peter Timmers, will have to settle for 3rd position, but he'll tell you that there are bigger fish to fry, especially when it comes to the World Championships at the end of the year in winter in Canada. That's what he will be aiming for. Soji Katsumi Nakamura, one of 3 Asians to go below 47 seconds. He failed to do it again in this event. We have a look at Timmers, who was 2nd at the Olympic Games, remember, in the Moncours event. The 100 meters freestyle with a strong finish to get in that silver medal. And then his first appearance at the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup since 2011. He's won a bronze in his first event in his comeback as he preps himself for the World Championships. Katsumi Nakamura, his first defeat in this event since Tokyo 2013, and 4 in a row. Record stopped by a Russian who's now on 11 in a row. Nakamura will have to settle for a 2nd spot. Returns to Beijing, returns to the podium again. And here is Morozov of Russia. Aiming for the world record, I can tell you that, of 44.94 set by Amaury Lavaux of France in 2008. World record to get you an extra 20 points. Space to beat Chadwick Girl to the overall championships. He's already got the first cluster. He did lose the best swimmer tag in the Moscow leg to Leclos, so he knows that gap is closing between him and the South African. That's the reason why he's put himself up for more events in his schedule in Beijing, including the 50 meters breaststroke earlier on, which he finished in 2nd spots. But 100 meters freestyle, there's no one coming close to Vladimir Morozov. Yet another victory for him. 45.99, yet again the only one below 46 seconds. He has been the only swimmer this year to go below 46 seconds. Only that leg at Moscow that he failed to go sub 46. In the 200 meters freestyle, there's also the essence and the hegemony of Katinka Onsu. Talk about domination. This is an event that she hasn't lost in 2.5 years now. First, though, be the prize presentation for Tang Yufei, who's won the bronze medal. Remember, it was just Katinka Onsu against 7 Chinese swimmers. She's come out on top against a high-court fight. Took her right to the wire. Showed off China, trying to keep pace with her in the opening 50 and 100 meters, and then faded badly after that. To lose out to Yufei, and then Yan Han came back strong in the final 100 meters. Actually swam 2 times freestyle at the Olympic Games. Katinka Onsu, 3 gold medals at the Olympic Games, with her 174th title of her Airweave Swimming World Cup career, with a goal once again in the women's 200 meters freestyle, just like she did in Paris, Berlin, and Moscow. This, by the way, 28th win in the 200 meters freestyle. 13th in a row. Short course events. Absolutely magnificent. The whole palace of hers, the ivory tower of Katinka Onsu, which just cannot be taken down, no matter what sort of challenge and obstacle you throw in front of her. 50 meters breaststroke sees Vladimir Morozov return to claim another medal of his. He's hoping to end the night with some style as well in the 100 meters individual medley, hoping that he might lower his own world record in that event. Another Chinese on the podium, but still no Chinese winner yet. Li Xiang it is. They were 6th in this event last year, 5th in 2014, and now 3rd in 2016. Morozov from Russia didn't have the best of starts, but still came back strong enough to get amongst the medal positions. 26.77 is time. It's just 0.01 second off his personal best. Set in Berlin earlier this year when he did not qualify for the final. Felipe Lima, Brazil. 26.10. That's a personal best time for him, and the first Brazilian to win this since 2010 when Felipe Silva, who is the current world champion, took the crown. He's hoping that he would be able to bring this sort of form with him to the World Cup in Windsor, Canada in December. Close between 2nd and 3rd, but Felipe Lima has as large a margin of victory as you'd like in the 50 meters breaststroke. Alia Atkinson showing who's boss in the 100 meters breaststroke. Current world champion. He caught the world record the first leg of the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. Failed to do so, but at least she still wins the medal. The gold, Yulia Efimova, just as she did in Paris, finishes in 3rd. Paris and Berlin. She finished in 3rd position in both those events. Katie Bailey of the USA was 3rd at the Olympic Games. Was a winner in Berlin. Finishes in 2nd spot as she did in Paris and Moscow. So it's 4 legs already for Katie Bailey in the 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. She's never finished outside of the top 2. Neither is this lady. She didn't compete in Moscow, but she won in Paris. She finished 2nd in Berlin, and she's won here again in China. So between the 3 of them, she now has a 1-up over Efimova and Bailey in terms of winning positions in this year's FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. Alia Atkinson of Jamaica, still the queen of the 100 meters breaststroke in short course swimming. $18 wins now in this event for Alia Atkinson. Confirmation of the time where she was the only one to go sub 104. Katie Bailey of the USA. Yulia Efimova in 3rd position. And that's the slowest winning time this year. What has been a very, very quick women's 100 meters breaststroke. It should make for a very interesting World Championships, especially when Ruta Miliotite decides to take part in Windsor in Canada. Meters backstroke for men. Unfortunately, the world record holder is not here, Matthew Grevis. Neither is Mitch Larkin. But Bobby Hurley will start as one of the favorites. So too Stanislav Donec, who's got the 3rd fastest time of all time. And he's there in lane number 2, swimming for Russia. Shi Jiayi of China, who was 2nd at the Olympic Games and 2nd at the Asian Games in this event, be in lane number 3. Bobby Hurley, who's a real veteran of these FINA Airweave Swimming World Championships, Swimming World Cup tournaments. He's in lane number 4. But the one to watch, of course, will be Stanislav Donec in lane number 2 of Russia. All who have hit the podium, the first 3 legs, had to dip below 51 seconds in order to get there. Mitch Larkin, the only one to dip below 50 seconds this year. Zhou Yibing of China in lane number 8 leads the field off, and then Wang Peng of China in lane number 7. achieved the personal best in the heats to qualify. He was 7th in 2014 in this event. Pavel Sankovic of Belarus, who was the first Belarusian male winner this year of the FINA Swimming World Cup event since 2006. He swims in lane number 6. And then in 5, Takeshi Kawamoto, former butterfly specialist, turned into a backstroker this year, chasing after the Asian record of 50.07 seconds set by Junior Koda. Bobby Hurley of Australia swims in lane number 4. He's got 18 titles overall. 7 of them have come, 22 Swimming World Cup titles, 7 of them have come in the 100 meters backstroke. Here is Xi Jiayi of China. A huge applause from the man who is hugely popular right here. He's got a personal best time of 50.14 seconds. He's the Chinese record holder. He won this event in 2014. Stanislav Donech has won this event quite a number of times already, 9 in total in his Swimming World Cup career. He was 2, and Colombia's Omar Pinzon Garcia, who's never won in the 100 meters backstroke, but has won 3 Swimming World Cup events in the 200 meters backstroke. He swims in lane number 1. So the hot favorites will surely be lane number 2, Donech, but side by side with him, the Xi Jiayi of China. I want to show that his win in 2014 was no fluke. Remember, no Chinese has won yet this year the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. Might he be the first? Bobby Hurley, the fastest qualifiers from the heats, the only one to go below 51 seconds in the heats. Lane number 4 must not be discounted either. He's one of 17 swimmers in the history in the 100 meters backstroke in short course swimming to have gone below 50 seconds. His personal best came in 2013 in Tokyo, 49.92. That's also the last time he won in this event. Donech has already got 1 title this year, and that happened in Berlin. Hurley has won silver in Berlin and silver and a gold as well in Paris, so he's won as well. And it's a very fast start at the moment. Leading just ahead is lane number 4, Bobby Hurley, coming on very strong already into the final. Bobby Hurley still slightly ahead. Stanislav Donech, a huge comeback from him at the moment. And it's well, it's Xi who's actually in the lead at the moment. Xi Jiayi of China just ahead of Hurley, and Kawamoto of Japan in 3rd position. Xi Jiayi of China going on very strong at the moment. Stanislav Donech though, they'll fight back to match. And they almost turn together, lanes 2 to 7. Coming home in the final stretch of the 100 meters backstroke. It's too tough to call. It's almost side by side. And it's Xi of China in 1st position, Sankovic of Belarus in 2nd, and Hurley of Australia in 3rd. And Stanislav Donech has been knocked out of it. Xi Jiayi of China becomes the first Chinese winner this year in the 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. And he has clinched it in some style in the 100 meters backstroke. Hurley couldn't believe it. He thought that he'd won. It took some time before the results came up. That's how close it was, finishing together. 5 of them touching home almost identically. And it's just 0.04 seconds separating first from second. Sankovic in 2nd place. And 0.04 seconds separating second from third. Hurley in 3rd. And Donech just pipped out of those podium places. Xi Jiayi of China, though, came out and took it to the rest of the field. He threw down the juggler from the start. Perfect swim from him. Head hardly wavering throughout the race. He turned first after 25. He turned first after 50. And then the challenge came from Bobby Hurley, who looks to be in fine form heading to those World Championships. The streamline, absolutely perfect though from Xi Jiayi. And that's probably what won him the race in the final 25 meters. Just slightly ahead of Stankovic. And then Bobby Hurley of Australia. Strong finish from the Australian. Not strong enough though to catch Xi Jiayi. The darling of the Chinese pool wins it. The first Chinese triumph of these 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup Championships. There we go, 0.04 seconds separating first from second, and then 0.04 seconds separating second from third. Donech surprisingly kicked out of the medals. That's Xi Jiayi has given some joy to this Chinese audience now. And that is a very good time as well, very close to his personal best of 50.14 seconds. Great win for the Chinese. And might that be a start of many more to come as we have a look at the women's 50 meters backstroke final. Another event featuring Katinka Otsu, and in the backstroke legs this year she has been doing her own personal battle with Darina Zavina of the Ukraine. And Zavina's also in the field in lane number 5. Otsu's in lane number 7. Alia Atkinson will come back and return to the pool to swim in lane number 1. Wang Xie, the fastest qualifier in the heats, swims in lane number 4. But all eyes will be on Zavina in 5 and Otsu in lane number 7. Emily Seabom on the first 2 legs in Paris and Berlin. It's not here in Beijing. Jiang Lihang of China, lane number 8. The same 3 swimmers on the podium. The previous 3 events included Otsu, who finished 3rd in Paris, 2nd in Berlin, and 2nd in Moscow. She's hoping to go one better now in Beijing. Chen Jie of China in lane number 6. She was 3rd last year in this event, but that of course was long course swimming. And then Zavina of Ukraine, who won it in Moscow ahead of Otsu and Seabom. She's already got 24 swimming World Cup titles already, but mostly in the 200 meters backstroke. Wang Xie has got a personal best of 27.03 in this event, which she set in 2014 when she finished 7th. Liu Xiang of China, she finished 6th in 2014. 27.24 is her personal best. Cheng Haihua of China is in lane number 2. She was 2nd in 2012, 3rd in 2013. And then Alia Atkinson of Jamaica, who hardly swims in the backstroke. Last time she swam was in 2014 in Hong Kong. She clocked a personal best of 27.37 to finish 4th. But as I was saying, all eyes would surely be focused on lanes 5 and 7. Will there be an upset coming from one of the Chinese as well? Liu Xiang and Wang Xie, 2 of the faster Chinese in the field. Zavina of Ukraine in 5, Otsu of Hungary in lane number 7. Otsu usually takes it out quicker of the 2. Let's see whether it works out the same way. Otsu won the title, of course, at the World Championships the last time out in Doha. Zavina has been upstaging her in most of the races this year so far, and she has gotten off to a very good start. Otsu too as well, and they both turn in almost in similar positions. It will be Zavina who turns just slightly ahead of Otsu, and she stays underwater for a long time as she finally surfaces just slightly ahead. No, it's Otsu after that perfect turn. She uses the wall to perfection and to her full advantage. Otsu of Hungary slightly in the lead at the moment, and it will be Otsu who finishes first. Zavina is not even in the podium finishes, as Liu Xiang of China in 2nd spot, and then Cheng Haihua of China in 3rd position. But Katinka Otsu, who was 2nd after the first 25 meters, uses the wall to perfection and uses all her muscles to push that turn and push her in a perfect streamline to head home. Magnificent once again, and that's the reason why she does so well in those short course swimming tournaments. It's because of her ability to use the walls and use those turns. I mean, off the water kicks, she just judges it so perfectly. It just comes from hours and hours of practice and training, going through almost blindfolded to make sure that you hit those walls in perfect position. Alia Atkinson is never part of the equation as she finishes in 8th position. But Katinka Otsu, after the turn here, she was actually in 3rd position, and it was Zavina who turned first, just beside Wang Xie. But Otsu, the last to surface after that kick off the wall, and the first to touch home in the 50 meters backstroke. Her first win this year, Katinka Otsu, in the 15 meters backstroke, and her first win since September 30th in Hong Kong in 2014. So it's almost a year, 2 years. Yes, exactly 2 years to the date she last won this event in the short course championships in the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. And she wins it here again, 26.68. Zavina fading off very quickly with Wang Xie, as Liu Xiang and Cheng Haihua take 2nd and 3rd position respectively. And Otsu, it is strong as home. Boy, was she so good off the wall. It's a perfect example, if only you could see underwater, as we have a look at Chad Leclos for the very first time here in Beijing. It's also our first peek and our first sighting of Daya Sato of Japan. It's his first tournament that he's taken part in this year's FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup, and he swims in lane number 4 as the fastest qualifier. Leclos is the overall best swimmer in Moscow, and he's just 32 points off the lead in the overall championships against Vladimir Morozov. So he would want the title here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the medley 100 butterfly.
Here come the swimmers, led by Chinese Taipei's Cho Cheng-chi. 59.92, dipping below 2 minutes for the very first time in the heats. Zhou Shuchang of China is in lane number 7. Xiao Lei of China in lane 6. He's got a personal best of 158.77. She set at the World Championships. Philipp Heinz of Germany has already finished second to Chad Leclos in all 3 legs. He goes in lane number 5. Daya Seto was second behind Leclos at the World Championships. He swims in lane number 4. He looked very good this morning in the heats. Chou Weiliang of Chinese Taipei is chasing after the national record of 155.03. He swims in 3. Chad Leclos is the first swimmer to win all butterfly events in the first 3 legs ever. He's looking for his 95th Swimming World Cup title. With a win here today, he goes in lane number 2, and China's Wang Zhou completes the field in lane number 1. But all eyes will be on Leclos in his battle with Seto, just like it was at the World Championships in Doha. Leclos is the world record holder, 148.56. Seto has got the second fastest time ever, 148.93. The two of them the only swimmers to have ever gone below 1 minute 49 seconds. Leclos has been almost undefeated in the short course in the 200 meters butterfly. His last loss in this event in short course swimming came 6th of October 2012. It was against Daya Seto, who is his nemesis and is swimming in lane number 4. But it is a fantastic start by Chad Leclos, already a body length ahead of Daya Seto. He usually comes out so very strong. Difference in swimming styles, of course. After 50 meters, Chad Leclos leads just ahead of Seto, who's almost a second behind. And Wang of China at the moment is in 3rd position. Well, Leclos it is who usually glides along and looks for his challenges left to right. Whenever he races, Daya Seto almost bounces off the pool in this very high butterfly stroke. Both of them almost perfect in their technique. Leclos using a lot more of his upper body strength than Seto, and how good is he been in the first 100 meters. Chad Leclos in a big, huge lead against Daya Seto. Heinz of Germany comes back in 3rd position at the moment, but it's 1.68 seconds ahead of Daya Seto at the moment. Chad Leclos world record 148.56. He is gunning after that. But he is way, way ahead of the field. At least 3 body lengths now ahead of Daya Seto, who is slowly catching up. Leclos might have gone off too strong, and he is under world record pace at the moment. He might just be breaking his world record. It is a new world record. Chad Leclos has set the first ever world record. Well, it's not finished yet. It's not finished yet. The crowd was supporting and clapping all along. It looked as if it was the finish, but he is still keeping himself under world record pace at the moment. Chad Leclos still turning in 1st place. Daya Seto is in 2nd spot, followed very closely by Philipp Heinz of Germany. Chad Leclos, has he gone off too strong in the early stages? He is way off that world record line already. Oh, we got a little too excited, a little too early. Chad Leclos finishes. Once again, it's below 1 minute 50 seconds. It's a fantastic race by Leclos and lays down a marker against Seto for the World Championships. Seto finishes in 2nd spot and Heinz of Germany in 3rd. But Chad Leclos was absolutely dominant. That was almost perfect butterfly swimming, except for the fact that he went off a little too strong. But he wanted to do that, intimidate your opponents as much as possible. And he knows in order to chase Vladimir Morozov, he's got to get those extra 20 points in cracking that world record. And he almost did that. He almost did that. He had it under world record pace for 150 meters. We got all too excited here because I had a tap on my shoulder and I thought that was the end of the race. But it wasn't. Another 50 to go, and that was when he started flagging. Seto, who's always a strong finisher, comes off and comes home very strongly, but not good enough to catch Leclos, who at one stage established a 4 body length lead against his Japanese opponent. Seto, as I said, comes off very high off the water as if he's bouncing off the pool. Leclos almost spears through it. There we go. That's the difference between the two. That's just that coming home and that final 25 meters where he gassed out and wished that he had just a little bit more fuel inside of him. Sato did have enough fuel to hold off the challenge of Philipp Heinz of Germany, who finishes in third position. Chad le Clos going below 150 for the third leg in a row, 149.82. At one stage he was below his world record pace. Daya Sato 152.59 and Philipp Heinz in third position. Daya Sato couldn't repeat that 2013 win against Chad le Clos back in Tokyo. So he looks to be in very strong form at the moment as we get ready for the 200 meters individual medley. This surely is the crowning of Katinka Otsu. It's almost as if the Aqua Queen doesn't allow anyone else to reside in her palace, and that's the rest of the field who are invited to the party of Katinka Otsu. You almost have to look at it that way when it comes to the women's 200 meters individual medley. She's got 25 wins in a row in a winning sequence which has spanned 3.5 years. The last time she lost was to Zuzana Jakobos back in November 10th in Singapore 2012. Li Bingjie, very much a long distance swimmer, swims in lane number 8 for China. And then in lane number 7, the last woman to beat Katinka Otsu in this event, Zuzana Jakobos of Hungary. Zhang Xixi of China is in lane number 6. Personal best time of 2 minutes 11 flats, which was established here in 2011 when she finished 7th. Zhang Jiaqi of China in lane number 5. Personal best of 2:11.40. Then here is Katinka Otsu. This one of 2 gold medals that she won at the Olympic Games, of course. 25 wins in a row in this event for her. Alia Atkinson swims in lane number 3. She was 2nd in Paris and 4th in Berlin. She's taking a lot more interest. Shen Duo of China taking part in the 200 meters individual medley for the very first time, just to prepare herself and taper herself down for the races for the World Championships. And Zhao Shan of China completes the field in lane number 1. It's just all about Katinka. There's almost a period that you say in the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup, which is BK, as they call it, and that's before Katinka, and life seemed a lot more ordinary. And then she came from Planet Extraordinary. She's just conquered this event. And she will continue to do so. This hasn't been anything more sure than a victory in the 200 meters individual medley for the Iron Lady. If there's a defeat, it'll be the shock of all shocks in the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup 2016, that's for sure. Yet again, she starts off very strong, and she has taken a slight lead over Jiang Jiaqi of China. Maybe Jiaqi might have turned first. No, just 0.10 seconds ahead of Jiaqi. Jakobos of Hungary, the last, of course, to beat Katinka Otsu in this event, turns in 3rd position. She's got only 1 win in the 200 meters individual medley amongst her 8 titles. And in the backstroke, this is where Katinka usually pulls further and further ahead of the rest of the field. She's now body length ahead of Jiaqi of China. Jacobo is coming back very strongly. A discipline where she's trying to put more concentration in. Going into the breaststroke is where Alia Atkinson usually does a lot of the catching up. She's currently in 5th position. Jacobo is trying to maintain that 3rd position, but it's Katinka Otsu way ahead of the rest of the field. Jiaqi of China in 2nd spot. Jakobos, in fact, slowly inching away now into 2nd spot, just behind Katinka Otsu. The rest of them fighting for 2nd position. And you almost feel as if there's another league there and another victory of its own, getting 2nd just behind Katinka in the individual medley races. Katinka Otsu goes into the freestyle leg. Alia Atkinson's made a very strong claim right now, and she's currently in 2nd position. What a leg that was from Alia Atkinson in the breaststroke leg, and if she can maintain it, she'll be in podium position. But Katinka Otsu is way ahead of the rest of the field, as she has always been. 2:01.86 is her world record. She won't come close to it, but she has been consistently clocking times of 2:05, 2:06 in the short course events leading up to the World Championships at the end of the year, and it'll be mostly that again, as Alia Atkinson a very strong breaststroke leg to get her right back into the mix, and she probably will finish in second position. No, it's Jakobos in second position and Ilya Atkinson in third, having just flagged off a little bit in the freestyle leg. But Katinka Otsu, a winner yet again, below 2 minutes 06 seconds, and it's a 2:07.37 actually, just ahead of 2:06. Not her best time, but then there was no challenge. Ilya Atkinson tried, but it came too late because she only got going in the breaststroke leg. Katinka strong in all legs. The moment it went to the backstroke, that was when the thumbs just went up and you knew there was only going to be one winner. Well, maybe before the start of the race you knew it was only going to be one winner. Ilya Atkinson, well, she used to be swimming the butterfly before she actually favored the backstroke, the breaststroke I should say, and the backstroke. That's where Katinka Otsu, who's just won in the 50 meters backstroke event, came out so very strongly. The breaststroke is where Ilya Atkinson caught up from 5th position to actually turn after the breaststroke leg in 2nd spot. But Jakobos came back strongly in the freestyle leg to win the silver position. Katinka Otsu, that's how dominant it was. She even had time to turn around and look at her time before the next swimmer touched home. Another huge victory for Katinka Otsu in the 200 meters individual medley. 2.21 seconds the difference between her and Jakobos, and 10.02 seconds between second and third. Katinka Otsu, a winner yet again in the individual medley. That is now 176 swimming world championship titles, and 26 of them have come. Well, not 26 actually, even more. 31 of them have come in the 200 meters individual medley for Katinka Otsu. Jakobos is the last to beat her in this event. She fails to do so this time in Beijing. Just as quickly she gets off the pool, Katinka Otsu get back to podium positions again to receive a medal. This time though, she's got to play second fiddle to Ottersen. Jeanette Ottersen, winner in the women's 100 meters butterfly. She was pushed all the way by the challenge from Lu Ying of China, who will be very encouraged by her performance, especially in the first 75 meters of the event where she led. Until that fight back from Ottersen, that perfect kick off the wall, judged it to perfection, perhaps a little lackadaisical after kick off the wall in the final 25 meters, and lost out on that. It's all about the kicks off the wall, isn't it? In short course swimming, strokes are a little longer, because it's all about the timing, judging it. It's all about streamline and the breakouts. This lady's got them better than anyone else, as she showed in the 50 meters backstroke. But here in the 100 meters butterfly, she was always playing catch-up. She did well enough to get into medal positions. In the overall championships, she's way ahead of the field. Way ahead of the lady who is standing beside her, Jeanette Ottersen. Lu Ying disappointed with that, but it will be a silver medal for her, just like it was at the World Championships when she pipped Jeanette Ottersen for a silver. Looked for all the world that she had won that race. As always, a racer and a fighter, and this Danish lady. Ottersen, victory in the final 25 meters against Lu Ying, turning the tables on the Chinese who pipped her at the World Championships. And she's hoping the same result will show this time out when they go to Windsor, Canada. 1 second separating first from second. Katinka Otsu in third position. And then China's first victory in the 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup was achieved right after that. It was almost as if Shi Jiayi saw the swimmer Blue Wing and was inspired and took the lead, and this time he did not relinquish it, like his compatriot. Bob Hurley had a very strong finish in the final 50 meters, perhaps a little too much ground to cover for him. Still, bronze medal for a winner in Paris. Sankovic, already winner twice this year, has to settle for silver to go along with the silver that he won in Moscow and the bronze that he won in Paris. The winner, very first time this year, a Chinese winner in Shi Jiayi. And that means all four legs have seen different winners already in the men's 100 meters backstroke. It was Hurley in Paris, Donetsk in Berlin, Mitch Larkin in Moscow, and Shi Jiayi at the Water Cube, his hometown in Beijing. Women's 50 meters backstroke, where we saw it's one of the best turns we've ever seen in short course swimming anywhere in the world, from Katinka Otsu to come back from position outside for the medals to actually win it. Cheng Haihua of China also came back strong off the wall to clinch third position. Of China, second spot, was in third off the wall. She improved a little bit off it, failed to lower her personal best time of 27:24 though. But that, as I said earlier on, was one of the best turns we've seen off the wall from any swimmer at a short course World Championships, and we were privy to it here at the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup leg in Beijing. Katinka Otsu, outside of the middle places, off the wall, perfect streamline, superb breakout, last to surface off the water, and she was heading home. Ahead of Zavina, her greatest rival in those backstroke events, ahead of the rest of the field. 26:82 the time from Haihua, which is 0.01 seconds off her personal best time. We talk about dominance. It couldn't come bigger than this from Chad le Clos, who's laid down the marker for the rest of the world. But chasing after his butterfly titles that he won at the last World Championships, that in Windsor, Canada, he's not going to surrender them easily, because he looks to be in very fine form. Daya Seto will know all about it. His first taste of the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup competition this year results in a silver medal, a schedule which sees him swim in 3 more events. And the good news is that he's not going to be chasing Chad le Clos anymore in those 3 events, because he did that all the way through, and le Clos, who was under world record for 150 meters, could not keep it in the final 50, but still though, a gold medal is his. 149.82, the 3rd time he's gone below 150 this year. They've all happened in the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup in the legs of Berlin, Moscow, and here in Beijing. That was a massive, massive swim from Chad le Clos. There's the difference. As I said, you talk about domination, you talk about overwhelming the rest of the field, and Leclos did exactly that from the get-go. Men's 400 meters freestyle to come next. Bobby Hurley, who's just received his medal in the 100 meters backstroke, be ready to take to the pool once again. He swims in lane number 2 in this event, along with Paul Zellman. Both Hurley and Zellman finished second and third in Moscow. Winner in Moscow and winner in Berlin. James Guy not around this time out, but there's another challenge coming in from South Africa's Miles Brown in lane number 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the athletes for the men's 400 meter freestyle finals.
So here come the swimmers, led by Ho Mingda of China in lane number 8. More of a 200 meters freestyle swimmer, trying his hand in 400 for the first time. Paul Zellman, third in Berlin and Moscow, fifth in Paris. Set a personal best in Berlin of 3:44.04. He swims in 7th. Chao Zuan of China is in lane number 6. He was 5th last year when it was the long course, of course. He's more of an open water swimmer than anything else. The first time this year we're seeing Miles Brown at the FINA Swimming World Cup. His personal best time of 3:37.91 was set in Eindhoven. Qiu Jiao of China is in lane number 4. He actually took part in the 1500 meters and 400 meters in the Olympic Games but did not qualify. Yang Jintong of China is in lane number 3. He was 2nd at the World Juniors last year. It's of course all long course swimming. There's Bobby Hurley, who actually won this event 8 times between the years of 2011 and 2013. His last window was in 2013. 5th of November, and An Tingyao of Chinese Taipei, who is chasing after his national record of 3:47.41, completes the field in lane number 1. Chinese interest in Qiu Jiao. Of course, there's a strong challenger in Miles Brown, South Africa, just beside him, and Bobby Hurley of Australia. It will be quite interesting to find out if he's swimming in lane number 2 and not watching Miles Brown, and it might be an advantage for him just to sneak up on the rest of the field and actually explode in his famous way that he guns for victory in the final few stages of this long distance race. Once again, it's An Tingyao of Chinese Taipei in 1, Hurley of Australia in 2, Yang Jintong of China in 3, Qiu Jiao of China in 4, Brown of South Africa in 5, Jiwen of China in 6, Zellman of Germany in 7, and Ho Mingda of China in lane number 8. Strong start for the rest of the field, using those flutter kicks for the moment before they engage the lower half of their body. And currently it's Miles Brown that's just slightly ahead of the Chinese, turning in well. It's actually Qiu turns in first place, slightly ahead of Brown. Yang of China is in 3rd position. Miles Brown actually has about 3 wins in the 400 meters freestyle already in swimming World Cup events. He's gunning for his 10th swimming World Cup title. His last win in this event was in Tokyo in 2014. He's swimming against Qiu, who finished 3rd in the 400 meters freestyle in the long course in the World Juniors last year. So Qiu is currently in 2nd spot. Yang in 3rd. Bobby Hurley, as always, as we said earlier on, he's a strong finisher. He's not going to panic. He's not going to come on strong just yet. He's currently in 5th position at the moment. Brown of South Africa still leading, slightly ahead of Qiu. Then Yang of China in 3rd position. Bobby Hurley is in 4th position at the moment. Out of his 22 swimming World Cup titles, 8 of them have come in the 400 meters freestyle. As I said, he hasn't won yet since 2013. He did finish 2nd in Berlin and Moscow and 3rd in Paris in this event. Miles Brown not in the field in those events though. He turns in first position now. Brown still ahead of China's Chu, who's doing very well just to keep pace with Miles Brown from South Africa. Miles Brown, remember, going after his 10th Swimming World Cup win, still ahead of Chu and Yang. Those two have been in the top 3 positions as we reach the first half of this race. So Brown still ahead of Chu, and Bobby Hurley is slowly coming back now. Tao Ti-Wen-Tu and Zellman of Germany, who remember was 3rd in Berlin, 3rd in Moscow. The two slowly coming back into the picture, but no one's touching Miles Brown with a 2 body length lead, just ahead of Chu Jiao of China. Yang of China though, his place in 3rd position might be threatened because there's a slew of swimmers just catching up slowly on him, including Hurley and Zellman. The top of your picture right there. Brown still turns in first place with 100 meters remaining. In 2nd spot at the moment, Chu, and Hurley has already taken over 3rd position, so he's hurled down the challenge of Yang Jintong of China to get into that position. Chu Jiao still in 2nd behind Miles Brown of South Africa. Zellman slowly coming back now, and he might be in 4th position, you know, but it's Hurley who is now chasing down Chu as we reach the final 50 meters. Hurley turns in 2nd spot. We did say how strong he is as a finisher, and he's shown it once again. Could he chase down Miles Brown? I think it might be a little bit too late, because it's going to be the South Africans to lose. Hurley's in 2nd spot, ahead of Chu of China, and Zellman turns in 4th position for the moment. But no one's going to catch Miles Brown of South Africa, who's taken the lead from start to finish in the 400 meters freestyle. And that's an easy victory for Brown. Hurley finishes in 2nd spot, just like he did in Berlin and Moscow. And in 3rd position, it's Chu of China, who just pips out Zellman's challenge from Germany. Miles Brown, 3:40.38. This his 10th win in the FINA Swimming World Cup, and just his 4th in the 400 meters freestyle. His first event he's taken part in 2016. And Chu Jiao, who was actually in 2nd spot most of the way until a final fight back from Bobby Hurley in the final 50 meters, was put paid to that. It was a very good start from him, and the only time he was in the lead against Brown was after 25 meters. After that, it was a South African who just took control of this race all the way through, swimming at a very comfortable pace of 74 strokes per minute, just ahead of Chu Jiao. And at one stage, Yang Jintong of China showed some interest. He was in 3rd position for most of the way until the final 100 meters, when Hurley has overhauled him, and then in the final 50 overhauled Chu just to break the Chinese hearts. But he is not going to break this man's heart. It's all smiles. Miles Brown, South African record holder, is now 400 meters freestyle champion here in Beijing. 3:40.38. Over 2 seconds ahead of Hurley. Jiao in 3rd position, just edging out Paul Zellman, whose challenge came a little bit too late. And Yang Jintong, who was in 3rd position for halfway through that race, will be disappointed to finish in 5th. The fastest women will be made known in a while. Ramoni Kromowidjojo is the world record holder. She set at the Eindhoven Lake in 2013. And anyone lower that world record of 23:24, if there's anyone, it will probably be Jeanette Ottersen in lane number 5. There's also the very popular Fu Yuanhui, who is taking part in the freestyle for the very first time. He says it's just for the fun of it. Wu Chengying leads the field up in lane number 8, and then Katie Maley of the USA, who finished 3rd in Paris and Berlin and 2nd in Moscow. She's been on the podium in this event in all 3 legs so far. She's hoping to make it 4 in a row. She's in lane number 7. Tang Yi, who is a former Youth Olympic Games and Asian Games champion, she swims in lane number 6. She finished 5th here in 2014. Ottersen, who's won the first 3 legs, She is in lane number 5. Zhu Menghui of China in lane number 4. Set a personal best time in the heats. She finished 3rd last year, of course, in this event. And then here comes a huge roar. Because Hu Yanhui, who is so very popular with her idiosyncrasies on social media, she's into lane number 3. Han Tingwu of China in lane number 2. She was 6th last year. And Natalia Lotkova of Russia in lane number 1. She was 4th in Moscow. Personal best is 24:23, the 2nd fastest Russian of all time. Everyone will be chasing Ottersen, who is looking to become the first lady since Inga Decker in 2014 to win the first 4 legs. Decker won 5 in a row. No one's ever swept a 50 meters freestyle in a calendar year, and that's what she hopes to do this time out. Jeanette Ottersen. Surely the hot favorites here in lane number 5. That's a very good start from Ottersen as well. The reaction times are so very quick. 0.65 on the off line, too faster than anybody else. She's got up to a flyer at the moment. Jeanette Ottersen just slightly ahead at the moment in lane number 4. Lane number 5, I should say, just turning ahead of Zhu Minghui of China. And that kick off the wall is perfect again, once again from Ottersen. Superb. Minghui, though, is fighting back strong. This is a very strong finish from the Chinese, and she just might upset Ottersen at the line. And I think, oh, it's a tie for first place. That's a superb finish by Zhu Minghui. Katie Millie, for the very first time in this year's Swimming World Cup, has been knocked out of those medal positions as she finishes in 4th position just behind Tang Yi. But Zhu Minghui with a fantastic final push in that final 20 meters off the wall. Ottersen was queen, but Zhu Minghui just continued her propelling power all the way through, increased her stroke rate tremendously, and just used all her upper body power to ensure that she touched home same as Ottersen. Jeanette Ottersen thought that she had it won, especially after the turn off the wall, but the Chinese came home superbly strong. That is amazing, amazing, incredible swim from Zhu Menghui to finish in 1st position, tied with Ottersen. She will get the points, but she's got a share at $2,500 prize money now instead of having $1,500 all by herself. Jeanette Ottersen, I don't think she'll mind that. But if you look back at it again, after the kick off the wall, Ottersen, who was just slightly ahead and was just 0.05 seconds ahead, 24 seconds flat, the two of them clocked. Ottersen's been the only one to go below 24 seconds this year, and Zhu Minghui has clocked the 2nd fastest time this year swum at a FINA Swimming World Cup event. Ottersen, it was 0.02 seconds ahead off the reaction blocks, and then 0.02 seconds ahead off the turn, and then just pulling ahead, and you thought that she had the race won. But Menghui, in the final half of that lap, in the final 25 meters, just increased her vertical catch and started propelling her way all the way through to catch up with Ottersen. And at one stage I thought that it would have been a huge surprise. Instead, she ties for 1st with the Danish lady, 24 seconds flat. Tang Yi finishes in 3rd position, and Katie Millie, as we said earlier on, for the first time in this year's 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup, finishes outside of those medal positions. Great race, the closest we've seen so far in the first day of competition here at the Water Cube. Look how close this is. For a while I thought that she had it won. It's just tremendous. She was almost floating on the surface of the water. Just found that extra propulsion and increased that vertical catch and increased her stroke rates and almost caught up and beat Ottersen. Tie for 1st, Zhu Menghui, 2nd Chinese winner this year at the 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. The men's 200 meters breaststroke next. Marco Koch, Germany, who's won the last 2 legs in Berlin and Moscow. Start as favorites, of course, in lane number 5, but he has the silver medalist at the Olympic Games, Josh Prino, side by side with him in lane number 4, who was the fastest qualifier. Could be a very interesting race as Prino swims for the first time this year the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. Bing Rong of Chinese Taipei is in 8. His compatriot Li Xuan Yen is in lane number 7. They're both chasing the national record of 2:09.35. Xuan Yen came very close to it. Daya Sato was swimming for the first time in the 200 meters breaststroke since 2013. He's won it once in 2012 in Doha. Here's Marco Koch, who's won it twice this year already in 5. Prino of the USA in lane number 4. First swimming World Cup event since 2011. Yan Zhifei of China is in lane number 3. He was third last year. Mao Feilian is the Chinese record holder. 2-minute 04.43 that he clocked in 2014 when he finished in second spot. And Wang Guoyi of China, lane number 1, his personal best 2:09.56, which he clocked in 2014 when he finished 5th in this event. So all eyes will be on Prino, Kok, Saito, but there might be a surprise coming in from lane number 2 as well. Mao Feilian of China, who has been very quick in this race. In fact, he was first here last year. That though was in the long course. There's a battle, of course, between the silver medalist at the Olympic Games in the long course and the long course world champion of 2015, Marco Kok. 11 swimming World Cup titles, 7 of them have come in the breaststroke. And it's Kok who turns just slightly ahead of Prino of the USA, first place at the moment. The only one in the field, Marco Kok, to have gone below 2:02 in the swimming World Cup this year. He established that in Berlin, Germany, when he won in 2:01.92. He's got the second fastest time ever in the 200 meters breaststroke, time of 2:00 0.53 seconds, which he clocked. And he's just one of 2 swimmers, along with Daniel Goethe, to have gone below the 2-minute mark, the 2-minute 01 mark. Still in first place, Kok, using a longer pull, and those sprinters is making full use of that propulsion of his and that streamline of his to make sure that there's no drag in front. It's perfect long distance breaststroke swimming. Saito has done very well to come back into second spot at the moment. As always, he's so very strong in finishing up, and Saito is catching up with Marco Kok. There is Saito, big, strong as always, so high up off the pool, and a tremendous kick off the wall by Daya Saito. He couldn't come back fast enough against Chatuko in the 200 meters butterfly. Can he do it against Marco Kok though? He still has another 50 meters to go to catch up with the German. The lead's now been trimmed to 0.65 seconds. Prino of the USA in third position, having been second for most of this race. Kok of Germany has got a handful in order to keep this lead now against Daya Saito, a fast finishing Japanese. Kok still slightly ahead. It all depends on this turn and whether Saito can get enough of a breakout from the streamline. It will be Saito slightly behind Kok. Kok versus Saito. Saito's just spearing through the water right now, hoping to catch up with Kok. It will be too little too late though, because Kok will win it for Germany. Saito in second spot, and third will be Prino, just ahead of Mao Feilian of China. Start to finish, Marco Kok, who was second at the World Championships in 2014 to Daniel Goethe, and he's hoping to make it right to this time out in Canada in December. And he's heading into those World Championships in fine form, I would say. 3 wins in a row now in the 200 meters breaststroke in Berlin, Moscow, and now in Beijing. And that's his 8th victory in the 200 meters breaststroke in his swimming World Cup history. His 12th as he reaches the dirty dozen. And that was a swim. Exemplified everything that was good about Marco Kok of Germany. As I said, he uses that streamline to perfection. Has so little drag. Perfect for long distance swimming. And breaststroke technique. Daya Saito had to play catch up as he did in the 200 meters butterfly against Chatuko, but this time he made a closer race out of it. Coming back strong. Still not enough though for victory. Delayed arm recovery and elbow drops for Marco Kok. That's good enough for another victory. Saito in second spot, and Prino in his first race in this year's Swimming World Cup finishes in third position, with Mao Feilian of China in fourth. Chinese record holder 2:05.84 is his time. It's a little off his personal best of 2:04.43. Now, we've seen 2 world records dropped already. in the men's 100 meters individual medley. That name there, Morozov, has rewritten the world record twice. We've never seen a world record here at the Water Cube in a FINA Arena or Airweave Swimming World Cup event. Are we going to see it for the very first time? This venue gave us 25 world records at the Olympic Games in 2008. Surely it's going to give us one world record, the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. Surely. Are we chancing it here? As Morozov swims in lane number 6. Zhi Yong of China is in lane 8. He's got no time to change, does his Sato. He swims in lane 7, having just come off the pool after the 200 meters breaststroke final. And here comes the world record holder, Vladimir Morozov. 3 wins, 2 world records already. That's 4 wins in a row in this event since 2013. Zhang Tibin of China is in lane 5. He's a butterfly specialist, so look for him to be strong at the start. Wang Xin of China, the Chinese record holder, 52.96, which he set in Singapore in 2013. Lane 4 he swims. Lane 3 is Pu Yixuan. He swam in the 200 meters individual medley at the Olympic Games. Ling Huanan of China is in lane number 3. Set a personal best in the heats, beating his previous best of 2014 in Singapore. And Philipp Heinz of Germany is in lane number 1. He's won 7 titles in his swimming World Cup career, including 6 in the individual medley, but none in the 100 meters individual medley. The last German to win this event was Markus Diebler way back in 2010, but surely no one's going to touch Vladimir Morozov, who's just been a world apart from the rest of the field in this event since the start of the campaign in Paris, where he broke the world record. Then he lowered it in Berlin by 0.3 seconds. Couldn't do the same in Moscow, and he has to try to do the same here in order to keep that lead of his against Chad Leclos. Morozov is as consistent as you like for a medley swimmer, good in almost all strokes, and he tries to perfect it in almost every way possible. It will be Morozov who will turn in first position, just slightly ahead of the rest of the field now. Morozov going into the backstroke leg. Remember, he's in lane number 6, just outside of it, and usually he's so very strong in the backstroke leg. We're looking for world record timing here. Philipp Heinz at the moment in 2nd spot. China in 3rd position, in Hu Yixuan into the breaststroke leg, and it's Morozov still ahead. His last loss in this event was 9th of November 2013 when he finished behind Hagino and George Bovo. Going into the freestyle leg, if he's in the lead, no one's going to touch him, and he is in the lead. Morozov ahead at the moment of Wang Xin of China. It will be Morozov who touches home in first position, and that's off his world record pace. Wang in 2nd spot and Heinz in 3rd position. Daya Sato couldn't catch up in time for it after all. Just finished his 200 meters breaststroke exertions. Vladimir Morozov for the first time, well, it's the 2nd time actually, that he's gone above 51 seconds this year. 51.06, his slowest time in 4 events this year. And he's the first since Rick Nievling to win the first 4 legs of the 100 meters individual medley in a FINA Swimming World Cup calendar year. First since Nievling in 2006. So it's 10 years since anyone's achieved that feat, and no one's ever swept it before. And if he just concentrates and focuses and wants to make sure that he wins every leg of his and wants to win the overall title, he might actually just sweep it for the very first time in the history of the FINA Swimming World Cup. Vladimir Morozov looked at the clock and had a wry smile to himself because he wasn't too happy with the time. 51.06, still good enough for first place. Wang Xin of China in 2nd, and Philipp Heinz of Germany in 3rd. Sato finishing in 8th position, but he has his favorite event, the 400 meters individual medley, still to come. At least he's got some rest between now and then. And Morozov will return to the podium once again for his 2nd win of the night after victory in the 100 meters freestyle. He still has to anchor the team in the 4x50 meters medley a little later on. That's the mixed relay. That's what we're going to see in a short while. So to come, the 200 meters backstroke for women, 50 meters butterfly for men, 800 meters freestyle for women, and the 400 meters individual medley. The aforementioned event that Daya Seto would be very interested in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for women's 200 individual medley.
Before the start of the 200 meters backstroke for women, in which Katinka Otu will be involved in the victory ceremony, where she takes her rightful place right in the middle of the podium in the 200 meters individual medley. 31 wins in this event. Remember, undefeated since November 10th, 2012. And the lady to her right, Susanna Jacobus, upset her in the Singapore leg. Elia Atkinson, who was 5th at one stage in this race, came back very strongly in the breaststroke leg, as we'd expect from the breaststroke specialist, to clinch a 3rd position. And to the 2nd place that she achieved in Paris. Here comes Jacobus, who was 2nd in Berlin and Moscow, and finishes 2nd for the 3rd event in a row here in Beijing. 2nd is a word that she's become accustomed to, especially when you're a Hungarian swimmer, and you're always forever compared to the Aqua Queen, the Iron Lady. Back to a venue that means a lot to her. It was in 2012, after the individual medley collapse of the Olympic Games, where she decided that Beijing would be the start of her road to redemption. She penciled herself in for World Cup events that year. She won the bulk of them. She did lose in the individual medley to Yeshi Wen that year as well, the World Cup, but she kept going on, and she used the World Cup events to her advantage to work on her backstroke especially, and then she's come back so strong this year at the Olympic Games to win those 3 gold medals. Men's 400 meters freestyle was dominated from start to finish by Miles Brown. His first event of the 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup, and he won it quite convincingly. Qiu Jiao was in the 2nd spot for most of that race, before finishing in 3:44.80, which is a personal best time for him. He would be happy with that. Bobby Hurley finishing 2nd for the 3rd event in a row. Just when you thought James Guy's not in the field, he might just win his first title in the 400 meters freestyle. First since November 5th, 2013. Instead, it was not to be because the South African record holder was way too strong. Hurley left it too late to launch any sort of a comeback against Miles Brown. His first win the short course FINA Swimming World Cup event in the 400 freestyle since Tokyo 2014, and is 4th in the 400 meters freestyle. 3:40.38, that's 2.5 seconds off his personal best though. Needs that in order to challenge at the World Champs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for women's 50 meters freestyle.
This was the best race of the night, some might say. Now, if you're Chinese, you would enjoy it, especially the way Zhu Menghu came back and clinched a joint gold medal with Jeanette Ottersen. Good to see Tang Yi back again. She just has been off form recently, the former YOG champion, Asian Games champion. This hasn't been a solve. Say a lot of people felt that she's peaked too early. Here she is back again, at least on the podium, feeling that she's become so accustomed through the years. And then joint gold medalist Jeanette Ottersen for the 4th event in a row, winning gold, trying to follow in the footsteps of Inge Decker, Richa Stephen and Hinkelian Schroeder, who all won their first 5 legs in 2014, 12 and 10. Looks as if it only happens every 2 years. Zhu Menghu almost put that streak to an end. Almost. But still, it was such a great comeback to share the gold medal with Ottersen. And remember, China's first female winner of this year's FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. 24 seconds flat. First time that Ottersen has failed to go below 24 in this year's Swimming World Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for men's 200-meter breaststroke.
Well, it's the men's 200 meters breaststroke victory ceremony. Leading from start to finish was Marco Koch of Germany. Philipp Heinz, Josh Prino was in second position at the halfway stage of the race before being caught by Daya Seto.
The silver medalist, Daya Seto of Japan.
Silver medal for him. It was much better than the last time he took part in the 200 meters breaststroke in Berlin in 2013 when he finished fourth. He's got one win in this event in 2012 in Doha. Seto failed to do it again, all because of the dominance and the trail left by the blazing Koch. Third win in a row after Berlin, Moscow, now here in Beijing. And he's got eyes on the World Championships, where he was hoping to beat Daniel Goethe for the very first time to a gold medal. That would really complete a great breaststroke career for Marco Koch. Our next event is the 200 meters backstroke. And those two names that you see there, world record holder and Irina Zavina, who set a new championship record in Paris at the start of the year, are both in the field along with Susanna Jakobos. And they're side by side with one another in lanes 4 and 5. What should be one of the best races of the night. Zavina has overturned Otsu twice already, both in Paris and Moscow. Otsu did a number on her in Berlin. Let's see what's going to happen here in Beijing, where the Hungarian Otsu has looked in supreme condition. Yang Yifan of China leads the field out in lane number 8. Zhu Chaonan swims in lane number 7. Yasin, who was second at the World Junior Championships and 7th in the Olympic Games. That, of course, is a long course. She swims in 6th, and here comes Katinka Otsu, who's looking for her 10th title in the 200 meters backstroke in Swimming World Cup. Irina Zavina is in lane number 4. Both her and Otsu, the only ones to dip below 2 minutes 01 seconds this year. Xu Huiyi of China set a personal best in the heats. Swims in lane 3. Claudia Lau of Hong Kong, who was 5th in this event last year. It's a personal best of 2:11.94. Back to her heats time of 2:08.07 is a new national record. And Susanna Jakobos of Hungary is in lane number 1. First time she's swimming the 200 meters backstroke since 2012 when she finished 4th in Berlin. But all eyes will be on Zavina and Otsu. There we go. To your left and right respectively. Otsu, it's almost as if she just craves and loves this atmosphere here in Beijing, where her name Iron Lady was coined. It's almost as if she's giving back to the supporters who love her so much in this atmosphere. She swims in lane number 5 side by side with Zavina. Zavina's got the second best time ever, 1:59.39. The only problem though is that the lady with the best time ever is swimming beside her, Otsu. Only 3 ladies have gone below the 2-minute mark. Emily Seebohm's the other one. She's not here though. leaving Zavina and Otsu to claim. Remember, Zavina's already won legs in Paris and Moscow. Otsu won it in Berlin. Zavina's in second spot at the moment, just behind Otsu. Usually just inches ahead of the Hungarian, but then once it comes off the wall, the Hungarian's so very strong. 14 of Zavina's 21 swimming World Cup titles have come in this event. She's won more titles in this event than Katinka, who is going after a 10. And Zavina it is, who slowly inches ahead of Katinka Otsu after 100 meters. Katinka Otsu always uses the wall to perfection, but it will be Zavina ahead of Otsu, who catches up ever so slightly. She looks a little fatigued though, heading into the final 25 meters now. Zavina still in the lead. Otsu in second spot. In third spot at the moment will be Claudia Lau of Hong Kong, who's done superbly well to fend off the challenge of Jacobos. Still though, Zavina in the lead. Ahead of Otsu, now almost a body length and a half. This is as big a lead as you can get from the Hungarian Iron Lady. View of China in third position, Liu Yaxin. Strong comeback coming on in lane number 2 from Hong Kong as well. They're all fighting for third position though, because no one's catching Darina Zavina. This is the biggest victory for her against Katinka Otsu in their careers so far. She was a 3 times European champion, but she was always finished behind Katinka Otsu at the World Championships. She was 4th at the World Championships, but here at least in Beijing, she's got another one up against Otsu. 3 of the 4 legs she's won already against Katinka Otsu. That's another quick time, 2:01.61. Otsu finishes in second spot, and she of China finishes in third. Great work by Darina Zavina. She knew that Otsu would come off very strong. She knew that Otsu would start off quick, and she kept pace with the Hungarian throughout, and knew halfway along that she had more gas inside of her than Katinka did, despite the fact that Katinka usually uses those walls superbly well. And maybe that race wasn't as good and perfect as she had been over the last few races in terms of those turns. But Darina Zavina looks to be in prime condition heading to the World Championships, where she would want to make up for the debacle of 2014 when she finished outside of those medal positions. She swept the series of the 200 meters backstroke in 2013. Otsu, as I said, came off very strong starting off the race. Zavina though swam her own race. That's more important. If you're going to go stroke for stroke with a Hungarian superstar, you're always going to be in trouble. She didn't. She swam her own race and just pulled away from the Iron Lady. Otsu finishing in second spot. Jacobos will only finish in 5th. Liu Yaxin of China in 4th, and Hu Hui of China in 3rd position. There we go. Zavina, as I said, that's as big a victory as you can get. The biggest victory she's had this year against Katinka Otsu in the 200 meters backstroke by 3.07 seconds. Hui of China in 3rd position. And Claudia Lau finishing in 8th, despite the fact that she was in 4th at one stage. Jacobos disappointing to finish in 5th position, but she's got the 800 meters freestyle still to come. Well, we've seen Chad Leclos already, and he looks so very good. He's got one thing missing though in his locker, and that's the record in the 50 meters butterfly owned by Stefan Diebler, set in Berlin in 2009. The assault for that, the latest, takes place right now. He's hot favorites in this race. No one comes even near Leclos when it comes to the 50 meters butterfly. Benjamin Proud, the record holder from Great Britain, time of 22:59, which he set last year in Sheffield, is in lane number 8. Brad Tandy with his second race of the night, swims in lane number 7. Pavel Sankovic of Belarus was 4th in Paris and Moscow. He swims in 6th. Wang Peng of China. PB set in the heats. 23:21 in the heats makes him the 3rd fastest Chinese ever. Then in 4th, Takeshi Kawamoto, the butterfly, which he absolutely loves. He's got a personal best of 23.13 seconds, set in 2014. Chuha of China Set a new personal best in the heats. First time he's gone below 24 seconds. Leclerc swims in lane number 2. Only one of two people to go below 22 seconds. The second fastest time ever. Josh Prino of the USA, who's already won a bronze medal from the breaststroke, is in lane number 1, who's got a personal best of 24.82 set in Moscow in the 2011 World Cup. Leclerc's last loss in this event came on the 20th of October 2013 to Roland Schurman. He's almost been undefeated in the 50 fly. Off he goes with the quickest reaction time once again. Chad Leclerc, 6.1 seconds, a very good start from the South African, who's taken a very early lead. Just comes off so very strong off the wall. It's also a very strong race at the moment being put in by Benjamin Proud at the moment. And off the wall, Chad Leclerc is absolutely superb. How good was that streamline? Chad Leclerc will come on first. Proud of Ray Rittens in second spot at the moment, and he keeps that place. Kawamoto of Japan in third place. Chad Leclerc though, and that is a very, very strong time. Another win for the South African, 22.14 seconds. That's the second best time that he's posted this year after his 22.06 in Moscow. His 96th Swimming World Cup title. Benjamin Proud finishing in second spot. Kawamoto in third. But so strong off the blocks, Leclerc was. Reaction time the quickest. So when you have a look at Kawamoto, cameras all focusing on him. He actually came back strong from 4th to 3rd position. But there we go, because of the reaction time, his breakout off the water was so very good. Not just off the blocks, but also off the wall as well. Perfect streamline from him. Coming home, there's only going to be one winner. Proud in second spot, and Kawamoto almost pipping him out for it. But Chad Leclerc with another very quick time. He won all the fly events at the World Championships the last time out when he won 4 gold medals, and after an underwhelming Olympics, looks to be back to his very best again. Well, we say underwhelming, it was 2 silver medals. A lot of people would have been happy with that, but not with Chad Leclerc with the high standards he set. 2 silver medals. I remember at the mix zone he was almost apologizing to the South African media and said he's been trying his best, just couldn't achieve what he thought that he was going to leading up to the Olympic Games. However, at the Swimming World Cup, the overall champion, 3-time overall champion, remember, it's 2011, 2013 and 2014, looks to be giving Vladimir Morozov a real run for his money this time out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for men's 100 meter.
Top Morozov, here he is to receive his cash. Extra points, of course, for finishing in first place yet again in the 100 meters individual medley. Just like the 100 meters freestyle, he's won every leg. 4 in a row for him now, but no world record though. Set to go to Paris in Berlin. Philipp Heinz, having won bronze in Berlin and Moscow, completes treble of bronzes, one here in Beijing. Chinese record holder Wang Shun, 51.64. He's now lowered that record by quite a lot. It's a new Chinese record. Vladimir Morozov couldn't lower his record. But still, it's a gold medal for him.
Thank you very much and congratulations to all the medalists.
So very close to the Asian record held by Kosuke Hagino, just 0.34 seconds off it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for women's.
We have a look at the women's 200 meters backstroke victory ceremony where Darina Zavina is just a class apart, and you can hardly say that, especially when the Iron Lady's in the field. But that's how good she was. She China is consistent enough in that she was third after 50 meters, and she kept that up all the way through. She's not used to being on the right or left of someone in the middle in the victory podium ceremonies, but Katinka Otsu will be happy with that silver medal. Third time now out of 4 legs where she's had to play second fiddle to this lady, Darina Zavina. Her 22nd Swimming World Cup title, her 15th in the 200 meters backstroke.
Thank you all very much. Congratulations to all the medalists.
Women's 800 meters freestyle to be swum next, and we had an earlier swim in the morning already where Katika Otsu has laid down the marker with a time of 8 minutes 25.62 seconds, so they're all chasing after that time set by Katinka in the morning. The slower heat, as they call it. I don't know if you could ever use that word slower when it comes to Katinka Otsu, but that's what it's usually called in official terms. And here's the faster heat in the evening. 7 of them Chinese swimmers, 1 Hungarian and Susanna Jakobos. A lot of these Chinese swimmers taking part in their first ever Swimming World Cup, the likes of Gong Yi-sin. Jakobos has won 8 titles already, but none in this event, the 800 meters freestyle. Jie of China swims in lane number 5. Lane for Hu Yaowen, who's got a personal best of 8 minutes 33.81 seconds, which she set in the Swimming World Cup in Tokyo in 2011. She was second in Hong Kong last year, although it was the long course. Li Bingjie in her second event tonight swims in lane number 3. Le Ziying of China is in 2, and Chen Yejie of China in lane number 1. So it's 32 laps up and down the short course pool. The women's 800 meters freestyle. Remember the time to beat set this morning, 8:25.62. The second place time, 8:46.49, set by Chen Rohan. Otsu was actually the winner in Moscow. Jakobos, who was swimming in lane number 7, finished second in Berlin with a personal best time of 8:22.91, so she might be seriously considering going on a tear in terms of the 800 meters freestyle and the longer distance events at the World Championships at the end of the year. Only Franziska Henke of Germany, who's won in Paris and Berlin, and Jakobos have gone below the 8 minutes 24 mark, and they both defeated in Berlin what was the closest finish that we've had so far in the 800 meters freestyle. That was a fascinating race. I don't think we'll see the same here tonight, but Jakobos will know that Otsu's already posted a time of 8:25.62, which is faster than the time that she returned in Moscow and winning it. So she's had it all to do, but if she clocks anywhere near her personal best, then the gold medal would be hers. And it would be her 9th victory in the Swimming World Cup. However though, and then chasing up to Ho Ya-wen, who turns in first place, just ahead of Bing Jie of China in second. Ho Ya-wen going at 70 strokes per minute for the moment, using that flutter kick and making sure that her legs are not as engaged early on, side by side, swimming, making sure that it takes all the weight off those shoulders. That's what they do. Long distance freestyle swimming. After 150 meters, she's still in the lead with Bing Jie in second spot. Dong Jie of China now in third position. Anna Jakobos, who is a very strong finisher, is currently in 7th position. So it looks as if she's out of the race. Her languid style that she usually takes. Lane number 7 gets stronger in the second half of the race. Ho Ya-wen still though in the lead for China, chasing after that time set up by Otu. The barometer of course 8:25.62. Ya-wen leads after 200 meters with another 600 to go. 0.84 seconds ahead of Bing Jie. Dong Jie a little more than 2.5 seconds behind in third spot. Bing Jie slowly creeping up on Ya-wen now, shaving the deficit a lot more. Susanna Jakobos really's got to get her skates on if she wants to get her involved in this race. It's as if she might be a little tired out after her exertions in the 200 meters backstroke, but the gap has been closed between Ho Ya-wen and Bing Jie, only by a little bit. Bing Jie has just been turning off the walls a little stronger than her Chinese compatriot. Quicker stroke rate than Ya-wen. Bing Jie is going at 80 strokes per minute. Ya-wen still going at about 72 strokes per minute for the moment. Third position, Dong Jie, Yang Chang of China in 4th position. Jacobo still in 7th position. Still really got herself in that momentum or of stride just yet. Ho Ya-wen is picking up on her stroke rates a little bit right now. She was going at about 70. In fact, she's decreased it just a little bit to 67, ensuring that she uses her legs a little bit more. A little less of that flutter kick, and I think a lot of it's down to the fact that she turned to the side and saw that Bing Jie is not too far away from her, just half a body length now separating first from second. Because of that, she's decided to use that legs a little bit more, as you can see from the splash coming off the water. Now, the lead's just been stretched a little bit more to 0.76 seconds, but first and second have stretched the lead to 4.5 seconds now over Dong Jie. Still Jacobo struggling at the moment. In fact, she's struggling so much she's hardly turned. She's probably turned in 8th position at the moment in the field. Ya-wen is pulling away very slightly now from Bing Jie. She's judged this race almost perfectly. Or has she? Because Bing Jie is coming back strong, and it looks as if she's almost painting the toenails before just eating up on her. Well, they're able to do that at the moment because Katinka Otu's already raced in the morning. It's almost as if the mice are having a party because the cat is not in town. That's been the case for the moment here at the women's 800 meters freestyle. Remember, they go by the faster time to win it, 65 strokes per minute now. Ya-wen's just increased it ever so slightly, or should I say decreased it ever so slightly. Close to Bing Jie, was going at 80 at one stage and is still very busy going at 80. She has been very consistent as far as the stroke count is concerned. Dong Jie still steady in 3rd position. Jakobos still struggling, still in 7th position. It's almost she's pacing side by side with Gong Yan. Just to make sure that she doesn't finish in the wooden spot. Ya-wen still slightly ahead of Bing Jie, 0.73 seconds. There has been that difference between the two of them since the start of the race. Let's see whether Ya-wen's judged it perfectly, or the fact that Bing Jie has just been waiting for that moment, the right moment to pounce and pull away for victory. Dong Jie is still in 3rd position, but it's between the two in lanes 4 and 3 at the moment. Ho Ya-wen and Li Bing Jie. But Ya-wen still in the lead, 0.79 seconds, remember, at the last turn. Now back to 0.65 seconds. It's been that way. It's hardly a breath separating the two, half a body length throughout.
this race so far between Yao Wen and Bing Jie. Jakobos slowly creeping up into 6th position at the moment. She really needs to get her skates on now. She really needs to just blitz the field in the final few meters just to ensure the final 200 meters will be hers if she has any chance to catch up with him. At the moment, I would say no. The stroke rate increasing a little bit now for Ho Yao Wen, who's brought it up to 68 from 67. And because of that, she's pulled away just ever so slightly from Bing Jie. It looks as if she's judged this perfectly. Bing Jie has kept pace with her, still keeping pace with the stroke rate and stroke count of 80 strokes per minute. Yao Wen now pulling away. It's now over a second ahead of Li Bing Jie. This is perfect tactical racing from Ho Yao Wen in the women's 800 meters freestyle. Now she engages the legs a lot more. She increases her stroke rate now to 68. Still at 80. Li Bing Jie, very consistent in her stroke count. But Yao Wen's just pulling away at the moment, making sure that she gets that extra little pull inside underwater. Make sure that she just pulls it a little bit right up to the end to where her ribs are before she goes up for that vertical catch of hers. Yao Wen now further ahead of Bing Jie. Ho Yao Wen heading into the final 50 meters. And you know what? This is actually a very quick time. 8:25.62 is the time that's set out by Katinka Otsu in the morning. And I think that she might not be able to keep that first place if Ho Yao Wen keeps at it. This is a fantastic race at the moment from the Chinese. Ho Yao Wen turns, knowing that she's got to beat 8:25.62. 20 meters left. 15 meters left for Yao Wen. Surely she's going to win the 800 meters freestyle ahead of Katinka Otsu. Yao Wen will win it. And that's a very quick time. 8:16.81. That's the quickest time that we've had this year. Li Bing Jie finishes in second spot and probably ahead of Katinka Otsu as well. And she might just be shut out of those medal positions if Dong Jie comes back in time. But that is a superb race. Swam tactically brilliant by Ho Yao Wen, who just judged it to perfection. Susanne Jakobos finally touching home in 7th position. And Gong Yisin in 8th. 8:16.81. 8:19.34. That means Li Bing Jie finishes in second spot, and Dong Jie's 8:31.46 means that Katinka Otsu will have to settle for 3rd position in the 800 meters freestyle for women. So a 3rd victory of the night for the Chinese in front of their home supporters. They've always done so well at home. 8 of 10 Chinese wins last year happened in front of their home fans here at the Water Cube at Beijing. 7 of 7 wins in 2014 happened here for them. In fact, out of the 58 wins by Chinese swimmers in the history of the FINA Arena Swimming World Cup since the turn of the decade, the Water Cube was one of the venues. 49 of 58 Chinese wins have come at this venue. And that's the latest. Ho Yao Wen clinching gold for the very first time in the Swimming World Cup. With a race that she swam all by herself. And she's got to thank Li Bing Jie as well, because she kept her on her toes and kept her very busy. Kept her very honest throughout. And at one stage for the first 600 meters, she was just a little less than a second away from Ho Yao Wen before Yao Wen pulled away in the final 200 meters. Katinka Otsu, as we see, final reckoning, finishes in 3rd position. A final race for the night, at least the final individual race before we go into the 4x50 medley mixed relay. This is the 400 meters individual medley. See the name of Ryan Lochte as the world record holder. The 2nd fastest time just behind Lochte is swimming in this event, Daya Seto. He's in lane number 5. Not the fastest qualifier, but it's been a punishing first night for Seto. And this is his 4th event, having swum the 200 fly, 200 meters breaststroke as well, and the 100 meters individual medley. He's hoping for a much better finish in this event, where it has been his favorite. And he, of course, is the world champion. He won the world championships by 4.8 seconds over Kosuke Hakino in Doha in 2014. That's how much of a palace he's built around himself, a fortress he's built in the 400 meters individual medley. Zhang Yihui of China swims in lane number 8. And then his compatriot swims in 7, Wang Zhou. Marco Koch, who beat Daya Seto in the 200 meters breaststroke, he swims in lane number 6. He's got a German record of 4:01.67 seconds. And here he comes, second fastest swimmer ever in this event, Daya Seto, swimming in lane number 5. Philipp Heinz, who's already won this event twice in the first 2 legs in Paris and Berlin. He's in 4. Josh Prino, a couple of medals for him in his first swimming World Cup events this year. He's in 3. Wang Yito of China is in 2. And Wen Renhao of Chinese Taipei swims in lane number 1. Of Daya Seto's 22 swimming World Cup titles have come in this event in the 400 meters individual medley. He's raced this 14 times and has only lost once in 2013 in Tokyo. That's a staggering record. He will start as favorites here. He was 3rd at the Olympic Games as well at the long course events. He was 1st in the long course in the World Championships. In fact, he was beside himself after the Olympic Games because he felt he didn't judge the race right. Went out a little bit too strong, only to finish behind his compatriot and fierce competitor Kosuke Hakino. But in the short course, he has been dominant in this event throughout the years. Second fastest swimmer ever. He usually goes out very quick in the butterfly and comes home very strong in the freestyle, but he has been trying his very best to improve on his breaststroke and backstroke legs, and that's the reason why he's been taking part in the breaststroke events throughout the years, in the 100 meters breaststroke and the 200 meters breaststroke, which he took part earlier on and came in 2nd spot. Daya Seto still in 1st spot after the butterfly leg. He takes the lead slightly ahead of Josh Prino, who is strong in the butterfly and the breaststroke, but not so in the backstroke. Prino in 2nd spot, and Wang Yito of China in 3rd position at the moment. Well, the Japanese have produced great backstroke swimmers through the years, haven't they? The likes of Yosuke Irie to look at during training. See the way he just keeps so still in terms of his upper body, especially his forehead and his head. You know, that's the way to go. To gain as little drag as possible in this stroke. Daya Seto is making full use of it. It's magnificent, isn't it? His turns off the wall. He's hardly had to use any strokes at all. It's almost as if he's going at about 22 strokes on that 100 meters or 50 meters of the short course pool. And he's pulled further ahead now. 2nd spot at the moment is actually Wang Yito of China. Pulled clear of Josh Prino. Philipp Heinz is slowly coming back. Marco Koch has got an own personal German duel going on with Heinz. He's at the moment in 4th position. Seto still in the lead. His next assignment, of course, will be to take down Ryan Lochte's 3:55.50, which was set in 2010. He might just take down the championship record, which was set in Dubai in 2014, Thomas Fraser Holmes 3:58.69. We'll have a close look out on that, but he certainly is in world championship record pace at the moment. Daya Seto 4.23 seconds ahead of Prino, who's coming back strong now in his favorite breaststroke, who is slightly ahead of Philipp Heinz of Germany, but no one is touching Daya Seto. And by the time he turns and goes into that freestyle leg, no one is going to catch him. Prino in second spot. At the moment, Heinz in third. Koch has come back strong to turn in fourth position in his favorite breaststroke leg. Daya Seto still so very strong, reigning supreme, trying to make it 14 wins now in this, the 400 meters individual medley. Heads to the home straight. Prino's done very well to triple lead from almost 5 seconds to just 3.53 heading into the final discipline. But this is where Philipp Heinz usually takes control and would chase Prino for silver medal. That's all they're fighting for, because no one will come close to Daya Seto, who is coming close to that championship record of 3:58.69 of Thomas Fraser Holmes. Daya Seto with 50 meters remaining in order to catch that record. Still ahead now of Heinz, and then Prino in third position. He's had a very grueling first day of competition, Seto, and he's still got a little bit now left to hang on to. Great kick, well judged off the wall. Philipp Heinz in second position. He's come back so strong, the German, and he's chasing Seto down for this. No one would have thought that their lead and the victory would have been this close. Seto will not get that championship record, but he will get the gold medal and his first of the Swimming World Cup. Heinz finishes in second spot, and Prino in third position. Koch in fourth. Daya Seto, once again king of the individual medley in the 400 meters. No one comes close to him when it comes to this event. As I said, this, the 15th time he has swum in this event in the Swimming World Cup, and his 14th victory. He's only lost once, and it was not going to be a second time tonight. Led from start to finish, build a big enough lead to take him into the freestyle, but he did look very tired coming home in the final 50 meters, you have to say. Daya Seto. He will work on that. Just gonna get a little bit of that cobweb off of him. Little swim rusty. So the fact that this is his first FINA Airweave World Cup event of 2016. He will get stronger and look for better swims as he tries to taper and peak himself for the World Championships, which are going to happen at the end of the year in Windsor, Canada. And that's where he'll start off as hot favorites to win this race once again and defend his World Championship title. Daya Seto at one stage leading by almost 4.5 seconds. Wins it by 1.3 seconds over Philipp Heinz. Prino will come back strong in the breaststroke leg, only to cede second position to Philipp Heinz in the freestyle leg. Finishes ahead of Marco Koch, who has to settle for fourth position. So the German record holder has to finish behind Philipp Heinz once again in bragging rights in terms of the Germans. Final race of the evening is the 4x50 meters medley relay. Chance for the teams to gather some cash. Will not affect the individual performances at all in terms of the number of points that they've got. $3,000 for the first place team. 2 cup sides from China. Swimming in 2-3. It's a very late entry in lane number 2. Russia, the hot favorites for this in lane number 4. Got a team of Donetsk, Efimova, Matskova, and Morozov. And China main team, China A if you'd like to call them, swimming in lane number 6, Hong Kong, represented by Claudia Lau. We swim in lane number 5. Final race of the evening, always fun to watch. The Hong Kong team, Claudia Lau, joined by Derek O, Chan Kim Lok, and Kent Chung. Russian hot favorites. Stanislav Donetsk. It's the same quartet that won in Berlin, and So in Moscow, Slavin Quartet's that finished second in Paris. Swimmer Vladimir Molotov. Top side from China. Zhang Lihang, Zhang Yijing, Zhang Heng, and Zhao Xianjian. Club side. Late entry into the field. Might be China B and China C, but I tell you something, those Chinese swimmers, they've got real depth in them, so it might still be a very close race, and Hong Kong might see themselves just being knocked out of the medals. $3,000 for a first place finish, $2,000 for a second place finish, and $1,000 for a third place finish to be shared with 4 swimmers on display. It will be very interesting to see the first leg because it's between Su Jiayi of China in lane number 6, and Stanislav Donich of Russia in lane number 4. Donich was knocked out of podium places in the 50 meters backstroke earlier on, which Su Jiayi won to become the first Chinese winner in this year's FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. And there he goes again in lane number 6. Su Jiayi, very strong start. They allow the swimming from Hong Kong in lane number 5. It's a mixed relay, of course, so they can spread their men and women out to each in the discipline that they want. Su Jiayi turns in first position just ahead of Donech, and Su Jiayi's turned superbly off the wall. Perfect streamline, brilliant break on his wall. Donech is coming back very strong. It will be Su Jiayi who turns in first position, just slightly ahead of Russia, 0.25 seconds behind, and lane number 2, China C, if you'd like to call them, club position of China, turns as Hong Kong turns at the moment in 5th position. Side by side, Xu Jinglin now swims for the Chinese. The Chinese national record holder in the breaststroke against the lady who finished 3rd earlier on. That's Yulia Efimova. Efimova has done superbly well in the final 25 meters to take the lead just ahead of Chinese. Xu Jinglin, who is so very strong in the butterfly leg, now comes back against Lochkova. Luing turns almost similar with Lochkova, and Luing gets a tremendous kick off the wall. She finished second earlier on to Otterson, and she is in fine fettle as she hands it over to Hersin, who's now got Morozov chasing after him. What can Morozov do? Oh, he's turned on the burners here, Morozov. Look at him go, Vladimir Morozov. Has he misjudged the wall? No, he's turned perfectly at the moment. Vladimir Morozov, high vertical cap. This is a tremendous spectacular Russian against Yi Hersin of China. What's it going to be? It is going to be China who's just held on against Morozov, who just had too much to do after Lochkova handed it over to her. But that race was certainly won in the butterfly leg when Luing took over and took out Lochkova. Well, it's usually fun and games in the 4x50 meters medley relay mixed event. But we certainly saw a race here led by Xu Jiayi, who came up in first position. And then Xu Jinglin just ceded the lead because Efimova finished stronger in the final 25 meters. But by the time it was handed over to Natalia Lochkova, she had so much to do against a charging Luing, and that was when the race was won and lost. Luing took a body length lead, a body length and a half lead, to hand it over to Yi Hersin for the final leg. And Yi Hersin almost didn't cling on to that lead because Morozov, the moment he plunged inside, he almost came up immediately to the surface of the water, and he wanted to swim straight away. He wanted to be near the surface as much as possible. Donech had a very good start. Not good enough against the champion of the 50 meters backstroke, Jiayi, but this was where Russia caught up. Yulia Efimova, so very strong, of course, one of the premier breaststroke swimmers in the world, catching up and handing it over to Lochkova. But then the premier swimmer in the butterfly leg took over from China because she's got one of the 5 best times ever swum in the 50 meters butterfly, and she almost gave it a big enough lead for Yi Hersin, who then almost lost it because Morozov, who is in fine form at these Swimming World Championships, just came storming back only to see him a touch away actually claiming the gold medal and making it 3 in a row for Russia in the 4x50 meters medley mixed relay. China it is who win, the team of Xi Jiayi, Xi Jinglin, Lu Ying and Yu Hexin. Russia just behind, 0.13 seconds behind in second spots, and Hong Kong doing well enough, clawing themselves right back in the final reckoning to finish ahead of the club sides of China, to finish in third position. Our final victory ceremonies of the first day of competition from the Beijing leg of the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup 2016. This kicks off the Asian legs, of course. We've already had the European circuit, the first cluster, which was won by Morozov, Katinka Otsu. Morozov looks to be on his way for a fascinating duel with Chad Leclos for the overall champion of the Beijing leg, which just might decide who wins the second cluster, which also encompasses Doha and Dubai, and the final cluster before the World Championships happening in Singapore, Tokyo and Hong Kong, just to end off what has been a very good 2016 season in the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. Chad Leclos, as we mentioned earlier on, looks very, very strong in these events. So far in every butterfly event, he's looking to win it tomorrow in the 100 meters butterfly, which will mean that he's won every butterfly leg, every butterfly event, I should say, in all 4 legs. The first time ever it's been done in the Swimming World Cup. Benjamin Proud, second spot, making up for lost opportunities in the 100 meters freestyle. Finished outside of the medal positions. Chad Leclos, no one even close to it. 22.14, his second best time this year. That's the reason why Morozov has decided to add the breaststroke into his calendar for this event, because of the threat of Leclos. Actually, the way he has been swimming, we won't bet against him actually going for it and trying to lower his butterfly record tomorrow night. No world record yet in the FINA Swimming World Cup at the Water Cube. Still research for first world record in these World Cup events in Beijing. Katinka Otsu swam in the morning in the 800 meters freestyle, so just got a much needed rest for the night. 8:25.62. Who knows? She might have done better in the final if she had swum beside these 2 ladies who finished in first and second. Just didn't have any sort of competition. The difference between her and second place was almost 21 seconds. She swam a race of her own in the morning heats. That's overall time good enough for a third place finish. Li Bingjie, second spot. She was just half a body length behind for 600 meters before Ho Yawen pulled away. It's the fastest time this year in the 800 meters freestyle. 8 minutes 16.18 seconds. That, by the way, is also a new national record, 8:16.81. A time from Li Bingjie, 8:19.34, also lowered the national record set by Sin Sin 2 years ago. So well done indeed. Double confirmation that it's actually Bi Yurong who still has the national record and the Asian record of 8:12.91, but Ho Yawen came very close to lowering that. Final individual race of the night was the 400 meters individual medley, and Dayaseto led from start to finish. The winner of the race was never in doubt, although Philipp Heinz did make it interesting in the final 50 meters in the freestyle leg. He took over Prino and then almost caught up with Seto. Josh Prino has had a fantastic year in the long course events, hasn't he? Especially in the breaststroke in the 200 meters. American record, second fastest time ever, then second at the Olympic Games. Philipp Heinz has had a very good swimming World Cup competition, has to be said. He's won this race twice in Paris and Berlin, and now finishes second for the second meet in a row, having finished second in Moscow to a Japanese. He finishes second here in Beijing to another, but this Japanese is really a class act in this event. 400 meters individual medley, the world champion Dayaseto getting goal. Not his fastest time. Someone, of course, who's gone below 3:57, 3:56.33 is his fastest time. After a very punishing day, he was here almost just to dust the rust, swimming, get his World Cup campaign underway. Might see a better showing tomorrow when he swims in the 200 meters individual medley. Victory for Seto, though, in the 400 IM by 1.3 seconds over Philipp Heinz. The final victory ceremony for the mixed relays, where it was as close a finish as you'd get. The second closest finish of the night, like after the women's 50 meters freestyle. Hong Kong way behind in the reckoning, third position, but they encouraged by the fact that they were in fifth at one stage before clawing themselves right back into bronze medal position and winning that $1,000 US prize purse. $1,000 to be shared with all four swimmers. And then 2,000 US jingles for the Russian team in second spot. And 3,000 wallops for China in first. Second in Paris, second here in Beijing. Remember, they were winners in Berlin and Moscow. It's the same quartet of Donetsk, Efimova, Loftukova and Morozov. Despite Morozov plunging into the pool 1.5 body lengths behind after the butterfly leg, he almost pulled off the impossible. That's how good he has been so far this year in the 100. Should I say the 50 meters freestyle. Superb leg to get them right back into the mix before Yuhursin took it home. First time that they participated in the 4x50 meters medley relay in this year's FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. And home with the gold. The race that was won by the lady second to your right. Big smiles on Lu Ying, 1:40.12. Not as fast as those times returned by France, Russia, and Russia in the first 3 legs. Still good enough to pip Russia in Beijing by 0.13 seconds. So that concludes the first day of competition from the Beijing leg of the 2016 FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup. A day which has seen fascinating battles. A day which has seen 4 gold medals for China after the first day of competition. Tomorrow, women take to the pool for the 100 meters freestyle, men the 200 meters freestyle. Almost reversal of roles. We'll see Chad Leclos going in an assault for the 100 meters butterfly. Daya Sato in the 200 meters individual medley again, hoping for a better swim that time out. And then the women take to the pool for the breaststroke event in the 50 and 200 meters. The rivalry continued between Efimova, Maybe, and Atkinson. To add to the 3 gold medals that she won tonight. Hayley Atkinson was a winner tonight. So too was Katinka Otsu, 3 times out. And more importantly for China, 3 times they've won in the pool tonight, including the best race of the night in the 50 meters freestyle. Zhu Menghui tying side by side with Jeanette Ottersen. Leclos was absolutely superb, wasn't he, in those butterfly events? But Otsu, as usual, took center stage in an arena which she calls almost a home, an arena which has coined her term Iron Lady. The Iron Lady, once again the star of a night where an individual event was finished off by a win for Daya Sato as he returns to competition in the FINA Swimming World Cup. This though, the race of the night, Zhu Menghui tying with Jeanette Ottersen for the gold medal in the 50 meters freestyle. More smiles, more action coming up in day 2 of competition. We hope you will join us. It is, of course, the FINA Airweave Swimming World Cup 2016, the start of the 2nd cluster and the start of the Asian leg here in the beautiful water cube in Beijing, China.